Ooh, look what we got here. Got a magic trackpad. That's Jesse's toy. And our 2 lens kit. This is my toy. Oh yeah. A little bit of a backstory, or this video won't make any sense to you. We have a YouTube channel, and it kind of revolves around the developing of a bare property, like nothing's on it. So we're planning on building a house this year, and there's a lot of things that are happening around our property that we only have one opportunity to capture. I do want to say we're not photography experts, but we're not beginners either. We feel at this point we have a pretty good idea of how our camera works, and we already feel that we're working up to the limitations of the Canon 80D, and especially the limitation of the kit lens. There's 2 kit lenses you can choose from with the Canon 80D. One is the lens that we got, which is the 18 to 55 millimeter, and the other one is the 18 to 135 millimeters. We went with the 18 to 55 millimeter because we actually did want to do some zoom photography. We have a lot of wildlife on our property, like deer, moose, so we figured we'd rather have a shorter, lighter lens for our everyday lens, and then when we want to capture something like a moose or a deer, we can stick our zoom lens on, and that's been working really well for us. However, with those 2 lenses, we already feel that our creativity is limited. We're having a lot of times when we want to capture something, maybe it's our hot tub deck or our cabin, and we feel like we need just a couple more options. We did some research and we found that there were 2 lenses that we really wanted to put on our wish list. And I found that they both were in the same box. And if you buy them together, you get like a $100 discount. Score! We got manuals. The first lens in this kit is the 10 to 18 millimeter lens. This has a stepping motor in it, which is really great for video because we can zoom in and out and do our autofocus without the lens making noises like We have the STM on this kit lens here, and we've really been enjoying it, so we're really happy that that's a feature on this lens. Oh yeah, one more lens for the camera bag. Why this lens? Again, it's really just for the wider angle. We have a cabin right now that we want to photograph, and we really want to photograph it with the starry skies in the background, but right now it's just not possible because our lens isn't wide enough. We end up having to crop a lot out of the frame that we'd rather not. The other thing I could see us really using this lens for is vlogging. We do a lot of video selfie style with our gorilla pod, and with the camera an arm's length away, our faces are really big. So having a wider angle will allow us to get a little bit more of the background in the camera. Next is the 50 millimeter f1.8 lens, and this one I'm really excited to play with. It's so tiny. Kind of like baby shoes. You know how you see baby shoes and they're just like, oh my god, they're so cute, like I have to buy them, like they're not practical, but they're just so adorable. Aww.
Is that like the Runt?
You know, good things come in small packages.
Let's just say if you're using your camera to compensate, this lens won't help you.
There's already a lot of videos that go over the specs of all of these lenses, and that's boring, so I'm not gonna do that. There are a few key reasons why we want this lens, and this lens in particular. First, the f-stop will go as low as 1.8, and on this lens here, it goes as low as 3.5 when it's zoomed all the way out, and from my understanding, that little difference or big difference in f-stop will allow a lot more light in the camera. We frequently are shooting in low light conditions, so I think this will really open up opportunities for us and give us 30 more minutes of shooting time.
The Canon 80D already does really well in low light, so this is going to be
like the Canon 80D on steroids.
And remind me, so f-stop is exponential, yes? So you like a 1.8?
I think it's a 1.8.
And that's not like a little bit more than a 3 point.
I think you're correct, but here's where I'm not a camera expert. I just know it lets more light in and allows more bokeh, which is on to our next point. True story, I didn't know there was a word for a blurry background until like 2 months ago. Bokeh! It's called bokeh! We can get a little bit of bokeh with this kit lens as well as with our 55 to 250 millimeter lens, but when you're zoomed in at 250 millimeters, it's a little more challenging to shoot your subjects, especially when they're moving. So I'm really excited to try to do a little portrait photography and get a little more bokeh with the low f-stop. Here's where I'm not sure how I'll feel about this lens, but I want to find out. This is a fixed lens. I don't know if that's the proper terminology for it, but it doesn't zoom. You're stuck at 55 millimeters. So I could see that being good and bad. I don't know. Some people say that this takes a lot more crisp photos, which could be good in portrait photography. I think this is a lens that I'm not really sure what we're gonna love about it yet, but I think it will have a place in our videography. I think the things with lenses when you're more of a beginner photographer is sometimes you don't know exactly how you're gonna use it, but if you don't have it, then you don't know. So that's one thing we're doing right now, is we're experimenting with a lot of these lower cost yet versatile lenses. Something to note about this lens and the kit with the two lenses in it is the cost. This is a relatively low cost lens. I think if you buy it alone, it's around $125. When you purchase these two lenses together in the kit, you do get a savings. I'm really excited to test these lenses out. Unfortunately, it's kind of dark outside, so we might do it tomorrow. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you a little bit about what these lenses can do, especially in comparison to the kit lens, because I don't know yet, and I think that information would be really helpful for someone to have.
What's going on over there?
Should I make lens boobies?
Lens boobies?
Kind of like bad boob job, like one's a little bigger than the other.
I was gonna ask, what do women do when they have one boob? I've heard that's a thing.
It's totally a thing.
Is it really?
I think it is.
But how do you know?
What? Which do I look better with?
Awkward.